Hello, and welcome back to the Unfinished Journey podcast, where we say whatever the fuck we want because it's our journey, like it or not. I am Cindy, and with me, as always, is Gabriella. Hi, Gabriella.
Hi, Cindy.
Hola, hola. Today we are going to be talking about pursuing our passions. This is a topic near and dear to me, and I guess they all are. But I enjoy this is something that I really enjoy talking about. So I hopefully you guys will be enjoy listening to it. So Gabriella, tell me about your pursuit of pursuing your passions, your journey to pursuing your passions.
Hmm. Um, yeah, so in line with our the summary of this episode, which talks about how to have the courage to follow your dreams despite societal norms. I haven't really done that up until 7, 8 years ago. uh, societal norms. I kind of went with the flow with whatever my friends were doing and whatever, um, the group that I was in with was doing, right? So like for a while, my universe was the LGBT community and a lot of drag brunches and lunches and dance parties and lots of glitter. And then it kind of became, my universe became all about personal development, and well, physical development. So my whole my passion was physical health and looking cute in uh, and being in line with the latest supplements and protein shakes and pre-workouts and all that jazz. And then I had this toxic relationship that I got to invite in and then end. And then my real journey with my passions began, where I really started exploring energy work, which I knew nothing about. And the more I learned, the more intrigued I was, and the more I wanted to know. And so for a while, I was really passionate about learning as much as I could about Mary Magdalene and the true story of Mary Magdalene. And then it just, whenever I would dive into that world, it just brought me so much joy and a sense of belonging and just peace. And it was just really, really beautiful. And over the last 7 years, I've, dived deeper into yoga, which I really, really enjoy. I mean, I've been doing different classes for the last 20 years, but then I was like, okay, I'm going to learn more about meditation and how I could teach breath work and how I could teach it to others. So I got certified. And the latest passion is finding a practical way on how to bring financial abundance to anyone and everyone that's interested. And through that process, healing the divine feminine within everyone. So it's definitely been a journey, and it's continuing to be a beautiful journey. So that's kind of my take on it. What about you, Cindy?
Um my path was a little bit different in that I've talked openly about being an Al-Anon here before, but I think it's important to keep repeating in case I'm not I'm proud to be an Al-Anon, and I'm willing to help people where need be in that arena. However, I crawled into the rooms of Al-Anon not knowing what I liked. I was with somebody every day that We did what he wanted to do. We did all the stuff that he liked to do, and I convinced myself that I also like to do those things. Those were also my passions, and like I found a way to make to build myself into his passions. And so instead of figuring out what the fuck I liked, and so I rolled into Al-Anon, and I didn't know what I liked. I had no idea what I actually liked. Well, the things that I thought were of interest to me really weren't. And well, some were, but most weren't. Like 99% weren't. So I really had to start a journey of like first finding out who I was so that I could figure out what I was passionate about, because I just didn't know. And I know that sounds silly, um, but I really just I needed to figure it out. So I needed to get to know myself really well so that I knew what I liked. And then for a long time, like when I found something that I thought I liked, like, do I really like this? Or do I think that other people will like me because I like this? And so it was a very long process for me, probably longer than it should have been. But I'm at a place in my life now where my passions and interests are so vast that people are like, that makes no sense. Like, you make no sense. Like, how can you like this and this? How can you like this and this? How can you like this makes no sense at all? And I find that I take that as a win, because I didn't know. I went from not knowing what I liked, questioning everything I liked, to being certain what my passions were, knowing exactly what I want to do with my free time, and able to take that and be unapologetically me. And I was I'm really proud of that. Um, on the flip side of that, I found out a bunch of things that I didn't like to do or I wasn't passionate about. But with all of the women who helped me get to where I am, and like getting to help other women, my found out my passion. That's why I'm doing this podcast. That's why I do the work that I do outside of this podcast. Is my passion now is really just helping people find the self-worth to live their lives unapologetically who they are, and find out, Dolly Parton says, find out who you are and do it on purpose. And that is like a freaking quote to live by for me. That is, I have that written down on my, like, on a thing in my on my wall. Like, I live by that quote. Find out who you are and do it on purpose. I think Dolly Parton's a genius, and so I will stand by that, and I will fight you. I'll fight anybody if they disagree. But it's very much it's there's a lot to be said with that simple statement. Um, I really want my passion is really helping folks, or women specifically, and women and girls specifically, find their self-worth. I think that's something that's lacking in the world. Um, but my passions also are like doing things for myself, like self-care, and making sure that, doing breath work and doing my meditations and reading things that I enjoy reading, and working out and taking walks and cooking healthy things, and learning about my culture, and learning about different things that just like interest me. You said you went down the rabbit hole of Mary Magdalene. Like, I go down rabbit holes similar all the time, trying to figure out just like figure things out. Like, I went on a whole rabbit hole um trying to uh trying to free Lucifer, I guess, like, and to prove that somebody else is Satan, and Lucifer was just an innocent bystander who got caught up in a bad situation. And like, there's all these things that, like, I get that I'm like super passionate about at the time, and like I will like go down these rabbit holes trying to, like, because it excites me. It makes me excited. And like, you want to call me a nerd? Great. You want to call me a dork? Great. If you want to call me dumb, great. I don't fucking care. I know I'm none of those things. So my passions are just that, mine. And you don't have to like them. So I that leads me to my next thing. Is when I was new in college, like freshman or sophomore year in college, I had a professor that told me, don't get good don't get good at doing something that you don't like to do. And that brings me to my thing about like following your passions, and really embracing your authenticity, because I fell in that trap. Like I chose a career that I didn't want to do, but I got good at it. And so now here I am, 20 something years into my career, and this is now my career. And to change it now seems silly, but maybe it will. Maybe it's not. I don't know. So what are your thoughts about that, about getting good at things you don't want to do?
I love that. And it's a great nugget of wisdom that your professor inspired onto you. And I agree. I believe that if you're doing the things that you don't like to do, then you experience burnout and your energy gets depleted. If you focus your energy on your passions, it doesn't become work anymore. It's fun, and it energizes you to have more passion, to drive more purpose and more impact into those things that light you up and spark curiosity and excitement and all those amazing things. So yeah, I absolutely stand behind following your passions. I think it's amazing. And as I'm embarked on this journey, I'm doing more and more of that myself. And it's exhilarating. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. There's that whole like conforming struggle, right? Like you just keep conforming to things. Like I thought I had to, like my path in life was graduate from high school, go to college, get a job at a company and work there and like do your job well and like blah, all this stuff, right? Um, Unpopular opinion, but one of my biggest regrets is going to college and graduating from college. Like I'm glad I have a degree, I guess, because most jobs require a college degree to even apply to them. However, I really wish I would have just like figured out, like, if I can go back to like 18-year-old Cindy, I'd be like, figure out what your passion is and like pursue that. Because like maybe my passion would have been like to continue on in college and get a degree in something, but maybe not. Like, I don't know. I was too busy trying to follow the path that I thought was the right path because that was laid out to me by my parents, by society, by like this is what you do after high school, you go to college. That was never even a question, right? um so I really wish I would have learned like entrepreneurial skills or like something like how to like make my life better following a passion instead of following conformity. So yeah, so that leads me to my next thing is like embracing authenticity, right? Like um I didn't know, I guess, like I was blind to the fact that like there was other things out there. I didn't know that not going to college was an option. I That was just what you did, you went to college. So embracing my authenticity has been something that I really had to learn later in life as an adult, like a later in life adult. And trying to really like acknowledge that each person carries like a set of dreams or passions, and like I get to celebrate everybody's diversity and all of that, and I get to celebrate mine, and I get to celebrate my craziness and like all of the stuff that I like to do, and I whatever my passions in life. But I was curious to know um your journey in that. Like I know you talked a little bit about conformity, but like your conformity struggle and then embracing your authenticity. Like how did that look for you?
Oh, I'm still working on that right now.
It's always a
Uh,
work in progress, right?
yes, yes, absolutely. But what you said about college really resonated with me. And yeah, it was never a question. And I went first to school for something that I I'm not really passionate about. I went to get a degree in business. And looking back, I wish I would have had the foresight to, choose something else. And at the same time, I think that nothing ever happens by chance and that there's a reason for everything that we choose to do, either consciously or subconsciously or at the spiritual level. So I think there's a lesson and something to take away from all those things. And maybe by going through all those experiences, that is why we're here today, right? Like doing this and pursuing our passions now and having the wisdom to impart on other people, to maybe do an early shift in their life and trajectory. Um, but yeah, going back to authenticity, yes, that is, um, especially over the last couple of years, really taking a really deep view and inventory of what my values are and what's important to me, um, within the school of thought of the frameworks that I've been using. You know, values are the deepest level programming, and usually, if we're not conscious and it's not brought into our awareness, we choose careers and jobs that are safe, that are providing, the bare minimum, right? The shelter, food, etc. And 9 times out of 10, that is not in alignment with our values. And so, making sure that what's important to me is reflected in every area of my life is a new process that I'm working through, and I've been working through it over the last couple of years. And that could show up, setting boundaries, saying no. I've Over the last couple of years, I've learned how to set no, more congruently and more often, and doing so because it's out of alignment with who I am. It's out of integrity with what I want to bring into my life and the energy that I want to surround myself with. So yeah, it is a process, and by and I'm still not 100% comfortable with setting boundaries, right? It's as a reformed people pleaser, it's definitely does not come natural. And at the same time, I choose to continue strengthening that muscle for the purpose of me being in integrity, being authentic, and showing up as I truly am across any area of life, not just in one area. So that's been my experience.
Yep. That sounds awesome. That sounds like you're doing an awesome job of getting to where you want to be. Um, I was thinking about when you were talking, I was thinking about fear and doubt, and like that fear and doubt is like this constant companion on this journey to find like your passions and self-worth and like whatever your happiness is in life. And I wanted to just kind of acknowledge that because someone near and dear to me always tells me like you can't have faith and fear at the same time. And so like having faith that everything will work out like kind of diminishes the fear for me. But also like acknowledging the fear, but not letting it dictate my course of action, right? It's not going to dictate where I'm going to end up in the world. um and also really understanding that not having fear, um courage is not like overcoming fear, like triumph over fear, right? It's just like it's not the absence of it. It's like it's like helping you overcome it, right? So like having courage and like I don't know. I think a healthy amount of fear might be okay, but then at the same time, like you're not letting your 100% faith like help you take care of your situation or help you get over that hump and follow the passions that you have in life. And I also think that but if you're following your passions, like it's like kind of a magnet, like a passion magnet. So now all of the things that you need for that passion or to like follow that passion are going to start coming at you because it's like pulling you towards what your passion is, pulling you towards your dream. And it helps like fuel like this this vehicle in which you are moving along to get to those passions. And I don't think that like if you have that fear and the doubt, like you're not allowing that magnetic force to like come and get you for those dreams to come through and for your passions to be really realized. And I think like also it attracts the right people, it attracts the right situations, it attracts the right information, it attracts all these things when you're following your path of authenticity and you're following the path that you're meant to be on. I think that everything kind of just falls into place. Um, so, thoughts on that?
That's beautiful because you just described the last 8 months of my life. That,
Yay!
yeah, yeah. And, trust and faith, you refer to it as faith. I refer to it as trust. That trust is my label. But yeah, they're the same thing. That's something I'm also working on building that muscle, right? Like just surrendering and knowing that everything that I need is already there and doing my best to get out of the way because I think oftentimes no one else is standing in our way except for ourselves.
I agree. I think it also gives an opportunity that like your passion, it like transforms adversity into opportunities. And that's always something that it's going to help you do. But I wanted to like move into like like resilience and facing criticism, like overcoming the criticism that you get. Like I had mentioned earlier, people are always like, "You don't make sense." There's always criticism about what my passions are. Like, how can you like this and this at the same time? Well, why can't I? Like that kind of stuff. So, like I think pursuing our dreams or pursuing our passions sometimes invites criticism and skepticism. Um, but like being able to be resilient of that and knowing like that some of the greatest innovators and the greatest inventors have faced skepticism and like right before they change the world, right? So like it's always people are always skeptical and scared of things that they don't understand, and it's okay. You don't have to understand why it's important to me. Something that is important to you I might not understand. So like how do you deal with that skepticism, and like what do you do to like give them the big fat middle finger and move on with your day?
I picture the visual. um, well, like uh, in the organization that I'm in, and for the longest time, like I'm, I people gave me so much grief about being vegan. I'm now I'm omnivore. Yes, you included. Oh my goodness, it was
It's
like
because I loved you.
it was so like for the longest time I took it personal, and then after a while I was like, that's great. Like you have your opinion and I have mine, and this is what brings me happiness and joy. And like this is my belief, and you could take it or leave it. And I am going to do me. And the more years on this earth that I have, the more I care less and less about what other people think, including people very close to me. Like, you know, it, you don't like it, it's okay. Like, you don't have to be in my energy circle. Like, that's okay. I will find people that are supportive and that are aligned with my vision and my view. Um, like you said, like when you're aligned with your passion and your incongruence and your trust and you have faith that and you believe in it, the right people are gonna come. So I also look at relationships with people like, some people are in your life for a season, some for a lifetime, and relationships and energies constantly change because we change every day. So what may resonate with me one day is not going to resonate the next, and that's okay. And just having the understanding and foresight and observing that and being okay with it. I'm a very loyal person, and I think that's one of the reasons why we're really good friends because we share some of those characteristics. Um, and for a very long time, it was really hard for me to let go of relationships that were not romantic but platonic, that were no longer we're no longer vibing, but because of the energy of the past and what we've shared, I kind of forced myself to hold on to them, and that kind of created out of congruency dynamic, and it didn't really serve either of us. So now I'm just being more compassionate towards my needs and what I need, and accepting that it's okay. It's okay. Like, no harm, no foul. Like, we'll move on, and the right people are going to stay in my orbit, and the ones that are no longer vibing, have a nice life. Yeah. What about you? How do you
Um,
deal?
similarly, like I've definitely since I started working on myself, through my Al-Anon journey and then like beyond the things that I do on my personal life. But I think people, like you said, people are either a reason or a season. They're in your life for a reason or a season. And I take what I like and leave the rest. And I don't have to, I don't have to have somebody in my life that's no longer serving a purpose. And I don't mean like them giving me something or like, or giving me things or like whatever. But like, if you are causing me more grief to be in my life than not, then I don't need that. Like I've gotten rid of so many like energy vampires and like people who just like suck the life out of me because I'm I'm worth my self-esteem, my self-worth, and my well-being is worth more than those people being in my life. And there's like there's hurt feelings or whatever, but what it did allow, it was allowed the correct people to come into my life, and I have a good set of people in my life that add so much value. And I couldn't even ask for more. But like, which leading me into the next part is like talking about setbacks. And setbacks there, I think some famous inventor, and I can't think of who it is right now, but said that like you didn't fail 900 times, you found like 899 times that didn't work or something like that. I want to say it was like Thomas Jefferson or something, but don't quote me. But that's totally true. Like setbacks are inevitable and setbacks are going to happen, but how you react to those setbacks is what's going to like propel you to the next part or not propel you to the next part. And also to realize like setbacks don't equal failure. And that's like with the wrong people in your life, right? Like you think when somebody used to leave my life, I'd be like, "Oh my God, what did I do wrong? Like how could I have done something differently to keep them in my life?" And like it's not a failure on my part when people leave my life because there's no longer a need for them in my life. They were for a season, not a reason, or maybe both. But like the reason is over. And it's something that like it's not a failure on my part. It's not I didn't fail in this relationship. I didn't fail in this friendship, whatever. Like I learned ways that didn't work for me, and I learned ways to do it better in the future. Um, I my the roadblocks, like stepping stones, not roadblocks, that saying, whatever, is that everything is a stepping stone to get you to the next part of what you need. So what are your thoughts on setbacks?
Well, I don't setbacks or failure. I kind of look at it as it's just feedback, right? And it's just telling me that I need to approach it in a different way. And maybe what it's telling me is that it's not the right time, or it's not the right connection. And, that's okay.
I agree. I agree. Things will always happen at the right time. What do you think about inspiring others to help others to like get them to the point where you're at in your life, and like having them like inspiring them to defy their limitations and like live fearlessly to pursue their dreams?
Well, first of all, remember what your professor said. Don't
Yes.
pursue something that don't get really good at something that you don't enjoy. The other thing is to, yeah, to remember and to make it a habit, uh, out of your daily practice and daily life, to dedicate time to your passions and making sure that you stay connected with that energy. Because even if you do like only 10 minutes, right? Like read 10 minutes of your favorite author or your favorite topic, that will keep that fire and that energy alive, so that you remember why you're doing it. And then when you have an hour, 30 minutes, you could dedicate even more time to it, so that it grows and that fire becomes stronger and stronger until it attracts all the opportunities that you need to make that a reality into your life. So
Yeah,
consistency, and always noticing and observing, how you feel, and the the people and the things that you attract because of it. What about you?
for sure. Well, I also think that, we lead by example. And so, by doing, like, I do this a lot with my nieces and nephews. Like, part of the reason why I make sure, like, I was one of the reasons I started really pursuing my own passions and doing things that made me happy, was because I didn't want to be that aunt that was like, that just was kind of a loser, that like just did what everybody else said. But I don't care to be the weird aunt, um but now I'm the cool aunt. They all love me because I don't conform to the things that they would necessarily think I should be doing. But that's also it's also allowed me to have better relationships with them, because they'll come say, "Hey, I'm going to do this. What do you think?" I'm like, "Go for it. If you fucking want to do it, like, let's find a way to make it happen." One of the my proudest things about being an aunt to these kids is, like, they know I always show up for them. And that's something that I really wanted to that's something that was important to me, right? Like, people, I want people to show up for me, so I show up for people, right? I show up for the people that I love, and they notice that. And they call it out, and they do that too. Like, they show up for things because it was something that I taught them, because something that was so important to me is now important to them. I have I mean, with different things, like, I love musical theater. It's a passion. Like, I fucking love going to shows. Like, I have, nieces and nephews who love that too. It's because I would take them with me to these things. They saw my excitement and they're excited. And, I think, like, leading by example and living your life authentically will attract and inspire people to do the same. It doesn't have to be the same things that you're doing, but, like, for them to really want to pursue their passions and dreams, and really, and, like, unapologetically. And then you know that there's somebody to come to and say, "Hey, I want to do this. My mom and dad think it's stupid." I'm like, "I will support you. Like, do what makes you happy." Um with limits. Like, I'm not going to be like, "Go take drugs," but or, like, whatever, like, kill yourself or some shit like that. But um when they're like 10 years old. But at the same time, I'm gonna definitely encourage them to live authentically them. Um, yeah, I just think, like, pursuing your dreams against all odds, pursuing your dreams, like, going against the grain, pursuing your dreams no matter what, and living a life of purpose, and living a life that allows you to pursue your passions and um, be a good person. I think that's just really, at the end of the day, what's really important. And, our values don't have to conform to what traditional values are, or we don't have to conform to what other people might think we want to be, what people think we should be doing. We're individuals, and we get to decide what we want to do, and we get to decide if we have the courage to follow our dreams and our passions, or if we want to live a miserable life and do what was set upon us, like, by somebody else, not um and not live authentically. I think that it's a very big practice of self-worth to live authentically, and to follow your dreams, and to follow your passions. and embark on the life that you want to live. And that's all part of self-worth and self-care for me. So yeah, that's what I got. How about you? Any
Yeah,
last parting words?
everything is a choice, and we have the power and the choice to make it a beautiful life filled with passions and things we love, or to choose to stay and do things we hate, right?
I
It's
agree.
all within our control. We have the power. So just making sure that we stay in control of that power and not letting it dissipate into the ether.
Yep. Let your heart lead and your journey will inspire others, right?
That's right.
That's right. All right. I guess that's it for today. If you guys would like and subscribe to our podcast wherever you are hearing it at, whatever format or application or whatever you're listening to it from. If you would like to find us on socials, Gabriella is at Phoenix Medicine. I am at the Worth Warrior on all socials, and on our Instagram, there's a link tree for you so you could find everything that we're doing um, outside of this podcast. And we will see you next week. Thanks for listening.